Hey class, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today, and welcome to our lesson on dystopia and utopia and the different cultures. So first of all, let's talk about the district posters, just to give you all a reminder. Those will be due tomorrow. We will be presenting them in class tomorrow, and if we don't finish, we'll continue the next day so that everyone can have an opportunity to share their district posters with us and tell us why they chose the district that they did. And I hope that you guys have had fun doing that in your groups. I know I'm excited to see what you have all come up with. So, let's talk about utopia for a second. So, a utopia is an imagined place or state of things in which everything is perfect. So, as you can probably guess, that is nothing like what we just finished talking about in the Hunger Games. Utopia would actually be the exact opposite for the characters that we just read about, except for maybe President Snow, who felt that everything was perfect and that he could run the show. So, something that I want you guys to think about for a minute is, what is your utopia? Who would be there with you? What would be there with you? And where would it be? What would it look like? Can you imagine in your mind? Could you draw a picture of it? Or write it down and explain it to someone what your utopia would be, and maybe why that would be your utopia. So now we're going to talk about how this contrasts to the Hunger Games and dystopian culture. Before we get there, I wanted to share a fun little example of a utopian culture. So my sons that are 4 and 3 told me that where they would want to live if they could live anywhere, and could be anywhere, would be on Griffin Rock, which is a TV show that they watch. It's called Rescue Bots, and it's about 4 machines that crash land on Earth, and they transform into a fire truck and a police car, a bulldozer, and a helicopter. And they happen to meet this family who takes them in and uses them as their rescue vehicles. And that's where my kids would want to live. They think that that would be absolutely amazing to be able to be with rescue bots and work with them. So dystopian culture is the opposite of that for my boys, which they said would be eating broccoli every day. So dystopian culture is relating to or denoting an imagined place or state in which everything is unpleasant or bad, typically a totalitarian or environmentally degraded one. A dystopian person is someone who advocates or describes an imagined place or state in which everything is unpleasant or bad. So everything just being bad and terrible. The worst thing that you can imagine, having to do something over and over again that you don't like. So maybe sitting through math class for ever would be your dystopian culture. Maybe sitting through my class forever would be your dystopian culture. I hope it's not, but it could be. So we've talked about in the Hunger Games the different things that the characters have had to go through and the way that they live. And many of us could describe that district or what they had to do as a dystopian culture. They're getting thrown into the Hunger Games, being pulled away from their families. President Snow is dictating everything that they do. Even when they are in the Hunger Games, he can change the rules on them and do things. And that would be a dystopian culture. Now we're going to transition into the novel 1984, which I hope some of you have maybe heard about, but it's a classic, so I don't think that any of you would have read it before. But it's also a dystopian culture, and President Snow in this book is Big Brother, and he dictates everything that anyone can do and why they can do it. And we will learn a lot of new things about doublethink and thought crimes and some exciting stuff to come. So I hope that you guys can understand more a little bit of what a dystopian culture is, because I think that will really help as we transition into 1984 and start reading about Winston and his trials that he goes through. So some things for you guys to do is write a journal response on what your utopia would be and how that contrasts with dystopia. So why is your utopia what it is and your dystopia what it is? And then fill out this dystopian characterization sheet that I'd like you all to bring to class tomorrow, and we can go over and maybe If you have any questions, we can answer those questions on dystopia and why it works the way it does. And I'm excited to see you all tomorrow. So good luck and get this stuff done for me. Thank you.